Hello everyone. The title of today's lecture is Limitations of First Law of Thermodynamics. In this video lecture, following points will be covered. Limitations of First Law of Thermodynamics. The first limitation is first law does not tell about the possibility of a process in a given direction. Second limitation of first law of thermodynamics is first law treats work and heat interactions as equivalent forms of energy in transit, wherein work is high grade energy and heat is low grade energy. So these are the two limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. So the detailed explanation of these two limitations will understand through the further slides. To understand first limitation, let us know about the spontaneous processes. A spontaneous process is one that occurs on its own without any energy input from the outside. Spontaneous process proceed naturally in only one direction. For example, the water flows from high elevation Z1 to low elevation Z2. Reverse process will not occur spontaneously, that is naturally. Second example is fluid flows from high pressure P1 to a low pressure P2. This is the forward process 1 to 2. Reverse process will not occur spontaneously, that is naturally. Third example of the spontaneous process is the heat flows from high temperature T1 to low temperature T2. Reverse process will not occur spontaneously, that is naturally. Mass transfer of a constituent in a mixture takes place from a high concentration C1 to low concentration C2, where C is in grams mole per meter cube. Reverse process will not occur spontaneously, that is naturally. So this is possible, this is not possible naturally, that is on its own. Electric current flows from high electric potential E1 to low electric potential E2. Reverse process will not occur spontaneously, that is naturally. Similarly, the energy transfer from work to heat occur completely. So work can be completely converted into heat, but the reverse process, that is heat, cannot be converted completely into work. So the conclusion is the processes occur in a certain direction and not in reverse direction. Some of the examples, some more examples if we consider, if you place the hot coffee in the cold surrounding, the naturally the heat will flows from the hot coffee to the cold surrounding. But a cup of hot coffee does not get hotter in a cooler room. Means the heat cannot flows from lower surrounding temperature to the higher hot coffee temperature. So reverse is not possible. Now, if you consider the electrical heater, so if the current flows through the heater can convert the electrical energy into heat energy. But if we supply the heat, whether the current will flows? Obviously no. So the reverse process is not possible. So transferring heat to a wire will not generate electricity. Then if this weight is lowered by some distance, this paddle will rotate and it generates the heat. Okay. So if we supply the heat, the whether the this weight will be raised? No, obviously no. So transferring heat to a paddle wheel will not cause it to rotate. So it will not cause to rotate and this weight cannot be raised. So again we conclude that is the conclusion is processes occur in a certain direction and not in the reverse direction. So all the spontaneous process occurs in only one direction, and these are not that spontaneous process, but this process also occurs in one direction, not in the reverse direction naturally. So the first conclusion is that the processes occur in a certain direction and not in the reverse direction. So the direction is one way here for certain processes. A processes must satisfy both the first and second law of thermodynamics to proceed. So if the process should be occur, it should satisfy the first law as well as the second law to execute the process. So what is the limitation 1? From this examples, we can conclude the limitation that is 1 is the first law places no restriction on the direction of a process, but satisfying the first law does not ensure that the process can actually occur. So if you consider the same example of the electric current flows through the heater, so here, if you assume that the reverse process occurs, let us assume that if we supply the heat is converted into electric work. Okay, so rate of heat transfer Q is equal to rate of electric work transfer, that is V into I. If you consider the direct current here, that is V into I watt. So here first law is satisfied. What is the first law? First law is the balance of energy. So if you assume that the heat is converted into electric work completely, so here the first law of balance of energy is satisfied. Okay. One more example. Let us say suppose the reverse process is possible. So heat is supplied to this paddle wheel, and this will converted, that is heat transfer is converted into increase in this weight will be raised, and that is converted into increase in potential energy, that is mg z2 minus z1. Okay, so that is the difference in height. This, so here this according to the first law, energy balance is satisfied. But what is the conclusion? Conclusion is even first law is satisfied, but given processes cannot be possible. So feasibility of the process is not given by the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, so if the first law is satisfied, okay, if the process has occurred, the first law is always satisfied. And if the first law is satisfied, the process whether it is a possible or not, so that we cannot say from the first law of thermodynamics. So this is the limitation number 1. So second limitation of the first law of thermodynamics is that the use of second law of thermodynamics is not limited to identifying the direction of processes. The second law also asserts that energy has quality as well as quantity. So limitation number 2, that is the first law is concerned with the quantity of energy and the transformation of energy from one form to another with no regard to its quality. So first law consider heat and work equivalent, but work is a high grade energy and heat is a low grade energy. Work can be converted completely into heat, but heat can't cannot be converted completely into work. This inadequacy of the first law to identify whether a process can take place is remedied by introducing another general principle, the second law of thermodynamics. We show later in this chapter that the reverse processes discussed above violate the second law of thermodynamics. This violation is easily detected with the help of property called entropy, will be defined later. So today we'll stop here. Thank you.